Bev Adams. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. This is the card for today. It's got kind of a fun fold to it. It's got a little Z-fold inset. As always, I'll have the directions for you on my website, bevadams.com, so you don't need to worry about taking notes. I'm using Basket of Wishes. I'm using Flirty Flamingo, which is 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I have a piece of Flirty Flamingo, which is 2 1/2 by 10 1/2. You're going to score this at 3 1/2 and 7. I have some Whisper White that is 4 by 5 1/4. I have one Delicate White Doily, a piece of Whisper White that is 3 1/8 by 2 1/4, and another one that's about 2 1/2 inches square. We'll be cutting this one out, so the measurements are not exact. My inks are Flirty Flamingo, Tip Top Taupe, and Emerald Envy. We're also using the Petal Burst folder, and you usually use this with the Big Shot, but I designed this project for those people who have not quite decided to invest in the Big Shot. You can still use some of your Big Shot products. So you're going to take that piece of Whisper White cardstock and you're going to hold it firmly. If you would like to, you can add a little snail to the back so it stays put. And then you're going to take a regular white crayon. I have a big fat one that's kind of nice. It's less likely to break, but any old crayon that you have, and if it's already dull, that's great. It's even better. You're going to rub it really hard. Like, do you remember back when you were doing the crayon rubbings when you were a kid? That's what you're doing. I didn't mention that I put it on the side of the folder with the Stampin' Up and Sizzix on it. You want to get a pretty consistent rubbing. I'm pressing hard. And if you kind of look at it at different angles, you can see the pattern a little bit better as it comes through. And actually, you don't really need to worry about the middle. I should have just scribbled around the outside. Next, we're going to add some Flirty Flamingo ink to this. There's several ways you can do it. This one, I put some drops of Flirty Flamingo ink into a spritzer with some alcohol and sprayed it. And the darkness depends on how much ink you put into your spritzer. This one, I took this piece of paper and just smeared it all over the stamp pad itself. And this one, I used a sponge, and this one's the least messy, I think. So this is the one I'm going to use today. Our sponges come 3 to a pack, and they're about that big. This is the thickness, and they're only $3.50, so they're really inexpensive. This is 1/6 of a sponge, so you can get 18 sponges for $3.50. And that pattern comes up beautifully. Again, you really don't need to sponge in the middle. We're going to be covering that up. And you can decide how dark or light you want it to be. I think that will be enough. And we're ready to adhere this to the Flirty Flamingo card base. Adhesive of your choice. I'm stamping the greeting in Emerald Envy. And this is going to be a birthday card, so I'm using Sending a Basket Full of Wonderful Wishes for Your Birthday. On the square, I'm going to stamp the basket in Tip Top Taupe. Got a little heavy-handed. Hopefully that center part won't show up. Good. And stamping the flowers in Emerald Envy. And I can't quite see, but if I could get my head right over it, I could put my flowers exactly on the top of that basket. Not bad. And then I want to add just a little bit of color to those flowers, so I'm squeezing the ink on the Flirty Flamingo so it ends up on my top as a little paint tray. I do this often. And I'm just coloring in really quickly some of these petals. Clean off your blender pen just by scribbling a little bit until it comes off clean. I'm rolling it so I get all the sides. I'm using a 2-inch circle punch and just punching that out. And I can't quite feel the edges of that cardstock, so I'm using a sticky note as a handle. Bringing in that sponge again, and I'm going to sponge around the edges. And just because there's this chunk of white down there, I'd sponge a little extra on the bottom. My card is opening this way, and I'm going to be tying the ribbon around, but I don't want it to go all through all of this. So I need just a little slit right here. I'm using that same 2-inch hole punch and just getting the tiniest little sliver in that hole punch. Just enough to fit my ribbon in. And I will be bringing this around to tie a bow. And I think I figured about 20 inches. It's time to add my doilies. You get 24 doilies for $3, so these are another cheap embellishment. And I'm just going to put that on my card front. Adhesive of your choice. Go ahead and tie your ribbon at this point. I leave my ribbon attached to the spool. I can tie my bow just fine. And that way I don't have to trim off. That way I don't have to cut my ribbon and then trim off another inch. I can leave that inch attached to the roll. I love this ruched ribbon. It ties really nice bows. And of course you can fluff with this and put that where you want it. I kind of like it at a jaunty angle though. Add a couple of dimensionals to your circle embellishment and put that right in the middle. Adhere your greeting to the inside. And then adhere the whole Z-fold to the card front. You want to be a little bit generous because you really are adhering this to the wax from the crayon. And there's your card. So the only tool you need here is the circle punch. And you could actually do this with a square if you needed to. If you are just getting started, this is a very inexpensive and quick, easy card. If you would like the full directions or a link to any of the products that I used today, come on over to bevadams.com. I would be very happy to be your demonstrator. Talk to you soon. Bye.